Hello, everybody. Welcome back to a new episode of the Garcia's Got Talent. I'm here with my musician Julio. Hi. I'm here with my editor Tato.
Father.
And we have Lucas with the history as usual. And today we have my cousin Kuya Aiden here. And this episode we are cooking some traditional Irish stew. Now the lucky thing about it is that Aiden is half Irish, so he was a good recruit. So let's start off when the Irish stew was made. Let's find out! So, as you know, it's made by lamb or mutton, potatoes, onions, and parsley. It originated in Ireland but also appeared in tons of cookbooks in all over the European continent. When Irish people began immigrating to America, they brought their food traditions there. The stew evolved and adapted to include local offerings. Sheep were not as plentiful, so other types of meat were often substituted. The recipe evolved into some variations have exalted this original peasant diet to near gourmand status. And now we are gonna talk about the history of Ireland. On to Lucas!
Hello, viewers of Joaquin and Julia's podcast. This is Lucas, and today I will be explaining the history of Ireland. During the Stone Age, the ancient Irishmen built these stone structures older than the pyramids in Stonehenge. Like the people of Stonehenge, they don't know who built them, so the Irish started mentioning magic giants and fairies, which is what Ireland is known for, as well as the color green. During 100 BC, the Irish made a concept of Halloween, which was sacrificing humans and animals to make some fairies go away or dressing up scary. In 432 CE, St. Patrick came to Ireland to build churches. Fun fact, people wear green on St. Patrick's Day because the color green is repellent to fairies and other creatures who might pinch you. Based on the mythology, Ireland was highly influenced by the Catholic monks, who were able to convince them that the spring goddess Bridget was actually a Catholic saint named Saint Bridget, which most of these saints Ireland has are probably from a previous god made the goddess to influence the Irish. During Rome's fall, the Irish had many scholars and monks creating monasteries to create the religion and creating treasure to understand it more. But during 700 to 800 AD, the Norse created Ireland and destroyed some of their treasure, but the Vikings, some stayed in Ireland, which influences Ireland's Norse culture. Leinster, a kingdom, had a king who was exiled to Normandy. Then the Normans were able to help the fort, creating the end of the Viking era, making Ireland a Gaelic Norman, which changed it to Gaelic. When the English in Ireland were one country since ruled by the same leaders, the Normans, they prohibited the English to learn Irish because, well, the English were very racist during the time and believed the Irish were a lesser people. In the 1500s, Henry VIII divorced his first wife, Catherine of Aragon, which stripped Ireland of the Catholic Church. Then Mary the First, or Bloody Mary, brought the Catholic Church back because her mother, Catherine of Aragon, was Catholic. Then Queen Elizabeth removed the Catholic Church and in her final years fought a war with Ireland until she actually won, but the Irish were still pretty mad. Because of this, the next king, James VI, decided to allow the Irish to keep their religion and be independent, but still under their rule as a puppet state. After the English war in a few generations, the English decided to take Ireland back by force. Because of this, Gaelic Irish had to practice their culture in secret because the British wanted them to follow their religion and laws. During the American and French Revolution, Ireland became interested, but in a rebellion, they actually failed. In 1829, Daniel O'Connell started the Catholic emancipation, giving back the Catholic rights in Ireland. In the 1840s and 1850s, Irish relied on the potato, causing bad famine, causing amounts of Irish immigration, imprisonment, and death. In the 1880s, the Irish wanted to have full rights back, and most of their culture was revived. But then the Ulster North decided to sign against the Irish, also known as Belfast. Before World War I, the two groups decided to prepare for war until the start of World War I happened. This disbanded some men from both groups to fight with the British against other empires. In 1916, the Irish decided to set a rebellion, creating an uprising. However, they lost. During the death of rebel leaders, more and more Irish people joined the cause. Excuse me. At 1920, Michael Collins decided to create a treaty that South Ireland was a free state, however, still loyal to the crown. Eamon de Valera and others decided Ireland to be independent, but not to Britain, causing the Irish Civil War. The Irish state won, however, but still lost many lives. They joined the UN at December 14, 1955, years after they were gained independence in 1999. Fun fact, in 1494, the Irish created Scotch, which is they're known for alcohol. But Ireland still had a lot of harsh relations with Northern Ireland, which was part of the British, which made them not be able to join NATO, which many uprisings and rights and democratic influence decided to hit Ireland. And in 1973, Ireland joined the EU. There was peaceful relations with Belfast eventually, and they joined NATO in 1999. Currently, the Irish are known for St. Patrick, clovers, castles, mythology, and alcohol, specifying brandy, beer, and Scotch. And the Irish were able to create an influence to the world's shipment, and not a high influence like previous countries like the UK and Netherlands. They still managed to stay a country that was good.
Thank you, Lucas. And now we're gonna move on about the culture of Ireland with Aidan Curran. Take it away.
Hi, my name is Aidan and I'm from Ireland. Irish cuisine is very similar to British cooking, with some large differences that come mostly from ingredients and how the people in Ireland prepare their food. One of my personal favorite dishes to eat that's Irish is shepherd's pie, which is made using meat and potatoes, as well as sometimes peas and carrots and other vegetables. Most Irish food is quite simple, such as shepherd's pie, as Irish people were traditionally farmers and did not have the time, money, or ingredients to prepare fancy dishes or cook for long periods of time. There are very few desserts in Irish culture, but some people have incorporated British foods like chocolate cake or ice cream into their food during modern times. However, in the past this was not the case, as Britain and Ireland have not always been very close. At breakfast, Irish food is very simple, mostly with just eggs and bacon or some potatoes. Lunch is also very small and simple, as again, most Irish people were farmers and did not have much time in their days to prepare food or have large, elaborate lunches. Because potatoes are very easy to grow in the climate of Ireland, many dishes include them. Some people will survive on mostly potatoes for their entire lives, either baked or mashed. Thank you for listening to this talk on Irish food.
So, and some other cultural traditions include that a large percent of Irish people are Catholic, even to this day, and also the traditional color of Ireland is red. It's green. Sorry, was mentioned by Lucas. So we're gonna talk about some Irish music with Julio. Thank you, Aidan. And now we're gonna do some traditional Celtic Irish music from the ancient times and the medieval times with our co-host and musician Julio Garcia. Take it away.
This is some Irish Celtic music. It's mainly using instruments from Ireland, and most of the instruments have a deep tune.
Yes, and you could see the Celtic tunes. Because as mentioned by Lucas, in a large the Irish are mainly descended from the Celts, who came all the way from Central Europe, but were eventually fought back and pushed all the way to the British and to the British Isles. So that's an interesting fact that you may know. And now we're gonna learn how to cook some traditional Irish stew. So let's dive into it. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna tell you how to cook it. So first of all, we need 2 tablespoons vegetable oil, 1 pound mutton or lamb cutlets, 1 tablespoon plain flour, 2 pounds potatoes peeled and cut into quarters, 1 cup onion roughly chopped, 1 cup leeks clean and freshly sliced, 1 cup carrots roughly chopped, 1.5 pinch dark beef stock, 2 or 3 cabbage leaves thinly sliced, salt to taste, pepper to taste. And now we're gonna get on to what you should do. Heat the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, gas 4. In a large frying pan, heat half the oil to hot but not smoking. Add half the lamb piece and brown all over by turning in the hot oil. Remove the lamb with tongs and place in a casserole. Cover with a half of the quartered potatoes, leeks, and carrots. Add the remaining oil to the frying pan. Heat again. Then add the remaining lamb and brown all over as before and add to the casserole. Cover with the remaining vegetables. Add the flour to the frying pan and stir really well to soak up any fat and juice. Cook at gentle heat for 3 minutes. Then add stock a ladder at a time until you have a thick lump-free sauce. Pour the sauce over the lamb and vegetables. Add the remaining stock to the casserole. Cover with a tight-fitting lid. Cooked in the oven for 1 hour. Add the cabbage suffusion. Replace the lid and cook for another hour. Check for time to make sure the stock isn't reducing too much. If it is, add a little boiling water. The meat and vegetables should always be covering with liquid. If the sauce is too runny at the end, you can always cook a little longer with the lid removed. Season with salt and pepper. Serve the piping hot, and as it already has plenty of potatoes and vegetables, it is unlikely it will need more. Perhaps a little crusty bread would be good though to soak up all the fabulous gravy. And now we're gonna reach the end of this episode.
Bye. Hope to see you soon.
Hi, bye. See you again next episode.
And now, as we end, we'll do Ireland's national anthem. Keep in mind that this will be in English. Sadly.
have come to answer our country's call. From the four proud provinces of Ireland. Ireland, together standing tall. Shoulder to shoulder, we'll answer Ireland's call. The mighty plains of Antrim, from the rugged hills of Galway, from the walls of Limerick and Dublin Bay, from the four proud provinces of Ireland.